This video will be RVer must-haves part 2. Now if you happen to miss part 1, I'm going to put a link right up here somewhere that you can click on and go check out. But without wasting any time, let's get started with part 2. Now here's an item that every single RVer can benefit from, yes, even you. And that's this Valterra gate valve. Now this is an additional gate valve to what we even had on the coach when we picked it up. This gate valve goes on the end of our sewer line. Now the gate valve I picked up actually twists on. You can buy those gate valves. We can just cut that sewer line off and you can put it on and glue it in place permanently, whatever you choose to do. Now here are a couple ways that that gate valve can save the day. Number one, every one of us has gotten to a campsite, taken this cap off the end of our sewer line so that we can put our sewer hose on, and had some sort of liquid come out, right? Even if it's just a couple thimbles full, or maybe even a short gusher. We've all had it happen. The couple thimblefuls can be a simple reason for that is you've drained your tanks, you've shut your valves, you put your cap on, you drive down the road. The water that is still around that inside of that pipe is going to settle and run down to the back side of this cap. It's just going to happen. Then you take this cap off, you get your little surprise, whether it's a couple thimbles or a cup full of water or worse. It's just going to happen. By having this valve on here, now when you dump your tanks, you shut your valves, you shut this valve. Now the only space you have for water to build up as you drive down the road is like an inch. Nothing. So then when you get to your campsite, you take this cap off. There's not going to be any water in here. You put your sewer hose on, you open this valve, you're good to go. Now you can just run your other valves as you need to while you're at your campsite. Another thing is, I've never had this happen, but it could happen. I do have a friend that had this happen to him. If you have a gate valve go bad altogether, this gate valve will at least get you by. I don't care if your black tank valve or your gray tank valve goes bad. It's going to run down inside your tube, but you can at least shut it with this gate valve and then put your cap on until you can finally fix your original gate valve. So this thing is a huge benefit. These are so inexpensive that in a year's time you'll forget what you even paid for it. I can't even tell you what we paid for that. You can go to our Amazon store down below and check it out in case you're interested. But anyway, that gate valve, inexpensive insurance, everybody could benefit. Think about it. Another thing I think all RVers should have with their RVs are these wire mesh vent covers. You use these on your furnace vents or your refrigerator vents if you have something like a Norcold refrigerator, or on your hot water heater vents. What it does, it prevents spiders and bees, wasps from getting up inside there and doing cobwebs or building nests and restricting the airflow, or getting in deeper and messing with igniters. That can happen. It's a real thing. Think about it. They're inexpensive, easy to install. There's no reason not to have these. Another thing I think all RVers should carry with them is a sufficient jack of some sort, especially if you're pulling travel trailers or fifth wheels. Now we're very fortunate. We have the Bigfoot leveling system on our fifth wheel. It's very capable of picking the entire coach off the ground if need be, but it can certainly pick up one side or the other, take care of any tire issues we run into. I may use this jack as another safety feature, but that's another story. Now our truck, I happen to know that the rear of our truck weighs a little over 3 tons empty, and the front of our truck, the front axle, weighs a little under 3 tons when it's empty. So we carry a 12-ton bottle jack with us. It's more than adequate to take care of anything we will ever need. But anyway, think about it. A sufficient jack of some sort, you need one. Here's something else I think all RVers can benefit from. A simple little thing like curtain rods. So check it out. A simple thing like curtain rods can help keep things in place in your refrigerator as you're traveling down the road. That way when you get to your next destination, you open up the doors, you don't have any surprises of things falling out on you. There, how simple is that? Not everything has to be high tech. Alright, this may not be a must-have item for everybody, but it is a must-have item for me. And if you're like me and you want to keep your rigs looking good while you're out traveling around the country, it just could be a must-have for you as well. And that is Aero Cosmetics Wash All. Alright, so I've done a couple videos in the past about this product, so I'm not going to go into huge detail about it. But the Wash All liquid here is the key product for us. That's what we use the most of. It does have a degreaser and a couple of other products that work equally as well. I did end up buying the whole kit. It gives us a couple of, I'm going to call them mop heads, that I put on the end of this telescoping pole so that I can actually clean the coach from the ground without ever getting a ladder out. Same thing about cleaning the truck. This pole makes it really nice because it's kind of tall. It's hard for you to get up on the hood and on top of the cab. So it makes a real nice system. I don't have to get ladders out all the time. So I've done videos on this in the past, as I mentioned. I'm going to put a link up here to a video so you can check it out. I will also put a link to a video that we did on this at the end of this video so you can check that out. We do have this product in our Amazon store, and again I'll say, if it's in our Amazon store, that means that I put my name on it. I would use this all the time. So there you go. Think about it. Keep your rig looking clean. The other thing I would suggest are some collapsible safety cones. Not only are they handy if you have a roadside emergency for the obvious reasons, but I use these at other times. So for example, if we're going to park in a parking lot somewhere and I want to put a slide out, I might put this cone out at the edge of the slide, so if someone's driving around or another truck or vehicle is pulling in, they have some extra notice that I have a slide sticking out. Or if we get to a campsite and it's a really sticky situation, I might put this cone out where I want the corner of the coach to be. Even though Diane does a good job of leading me in, it doesn't hurt to have some visuals. Safety cones. Think about it. The other thing I highly recommend are tire and wheel covers. One of the toughest things on tires is the UV rays from the sun, especially if you're going to let your rig sit for a few days or a couple weeks at a time and not have them rolling. Cover those tires. Extend that life. They're not cheap. Now keep in mind, when you're looking for tire covers, you don't necessarily need a tire cover for every single tire on your RV and your tow vehicle or towed. Most of the time, when you're sitting in an RV site, the sun's only going to hit one side of your RV. For example, I don't know if you can see it back behind me, we do not have tire covers on our fifth wheel right now because the sun comes up behind the camera right now, and then when it comes over, it's at an angle. We have trees across the street, and then by the time it gets above the trees, our slide is protecting the tires. So I don't need tire protectors on the RV in this particular site. I only need them on the truck. That changes at every site we go to, so keep in mind, you don't need to necessarily go out right away and buy tire covers for every single tire. So I found these tire covers on Amazon. They're made by ADCO. I did a ton of research on tire covers. I read a bunch of reviews, and these seem to have a pretty good reputation, and we've had these for close to 3 years now, I'm guessing, maybe a little bit longer, and they've held up real well for us. So no complaints on the ADCO. Again, there's a link down below in our Amazon store to find these. They have all the different tire sizes you may need. Another crucial piece of equipment I feel is a TPMS, so a tire pressure monitoring system. It's one thing to get up in the mornings and check the tire pressure on travel days, but it's even better if you can keep track of the tire pressure and temperature around your tires as you travel down the road. Now, if you have a catastrophic tire failure, nothing's going to stop that. But if you have a slow leak in a tire, having a system like this can detect it. You can pull over and address it before something worse happens. Same thing goes with temperature. If you have a temperature getting higher around one particular wheel, you may have a brake dragging, you may have a bearing issue. If you keep on going down the road and don't pick up on that, it could actually cause a fire. Having that being picked up by this sensor can also help save the day. Now, the system that we've been running for a number of years is a TST system. It's Truck System Technologies. Now, we've had this same system minus this monitor for roughly 9 years at the time of this video. I've had the same sensors on. Obviously, I change batteries once a year, every year and a half. The other thing I did change is I went to this color screen. The black and white screen that came with this system was great, but I didn't take care of it the way I should have. I left it up in the windshield way too many times on hot days, and it kind of made the battery go bad, so I did switch it out to this color monitor, which I like a lot better anyway, and it's easier to see. And if I'm being truthful, it sure is nice to have my monitor sitting here at my breakfast table while I'm having breakfast, instead of running around outside with my tire gauge, taking the caps off, checking the PSIs, putting the caps back on, especially if it's raining outside or hot outside. Yes, I'm lazy, but that's a nice feature too. Now, there are a ton of chemicals out there, things that you could use while you're out RVing. There's enough chemicals out there you could fill a small cargo trailer with, and you could probably argue a good point for each and every one of them. But there are a few things I feel every RVer should have, and they're right here. Number one, we have hydraulic slides. So for us, having at least 1 quart of hydraulic fluid with us in case we need some is a necessity. If we run low on hydraulic fluid, maybe our slides won't go in, maybe our jacks won't come up. There are times that I do not want to be without some extra hydraulic fluid. Number two is some type of lubricant. Now, I've used a lot of different lubricants. I've used Blaster, WD-40, you name it, I've tried it over the years. But the last 2 years, I think, or 3 years, I've been using T9. It's made by Boeing. It was meant for aircraft. And you know what? If it's good enough to keep the planes up there flying around, this is what they use. It's good enough for me. Real good product, T9. Another thing every RVer should have is a way to protect their slide seals, anything rubber, slide seals, their tires, anything at all. Now, I happen to like 303. I've been using 303 for years and years. It's a great product. I swear by it. I will continue using it. Just a good product. Now, if I have a couple honorable mentions I want to throw in here. One is, you know how much I like to keep my coach looking clean and our truck looking clean and the car looking good. So, along with the cleaners that I've talked about in the past, I carry Meguiar's. This is a ceramic coating. So this is a hand wipe on ceramic coating. And I do the truck with this a couple times a year. I'll do the coach with this at least once a year, Diane's car. So this is not a necessity. If you want to keep your rig looking good and clean up easy, I really do enjoy this ceramic coating by Meguiar's. Another thing that I'll give an honorable mention to, if you've watched many of our videos, you might have heard me talk about water spots. Getting water spots because of sprinkler systems at campgrounds drives me batty. Well, here's another honorable mention. There is no perfect way or no easy way to get rid of water spots. Anything you use is going to require some work. You can't spray something on and wipe it off and have them gone. I've tried a lot of different things over the years. The best thing I've come across so far is this Speed Gloss by Boat Candy. Now, a lot of boaters use this, getting out of water, all that kind of thing. That's how I come across this. I went to a boat show, and the guys were using Speed Gloss to keep their holes looking nice and clean. So I gave it a try, and sure enough, again, no miracle, you can't just spray it on and wipe it off, but this gets off hard water spots better than anything at all I've ever tried. Now, like I said, there are a ton of chemicals that you could buy. You can fill up a small cargo trailer. You find a good argument to have all of them. I do carry a few more things, but these are the main things I carry, so these are things I wanted to show you. I could get rid of everything else and just carry these and be happy with it. Anyway, there you go. Necessities I think you should be using. Now on to the next thing. And then comes the topic of tools. Now keep in mind that at the time of this video, we've been on the road for 10.5 years, and these are the only tools I've needed in all that time. And this is far from a professional bunch of tools. I've owned many of these tools for well over 20 years. It's just a mismatched set of everything, but I'll spin you around and show you what I have. So I carry an assortment of screwdrivers and some bits, some extra bits here, some more precision bits there. I carry an extension right there. I carry a small assortment of pliers. I need needle nose and some side snips in a couple different sizes. I have a couple extra larger channel locks over here, as you can see. Then I carry some crescent wrenches in a variety of sizes. I do have some more crescent wrenches in other areas of the coach, in areas that I might use those more often, like in the wet bay. I carry some vice grips in a variety of sizes. I do have a couple of pry bars. That's the only one I brought out here. I keep a mismatched assortment of boxed and open end wrenches. I carry, of course, a wire stripper and crimper. You carry some torque wrenches there, a knife with some razor blades, precision knife there, a little tester light. I do carry a infrared thermometer. I do like to go check the bearing temperatures once in a while as we're traveling. Of course, you wouldn't have a tool set without a couple of hammers and a rubber mallet. I carry some zip ties, of course, a couple different sets of tape measures. I carry a saw, a hacksaw with me, a couple different tire gauges there. I do have other tire gauges. I have a whole set of files, but that's the only one I drug out here. I carry a Dremel set. Of course, you have to have duct tape and electrical tape, some smaller hemostats, they call them, a little magnetic tool here, and of course I carry some knee pads. I carry not a high end, just a basic drill. Of course, I have a full assortment of drill bits. I put this here just as a reminder that I do carry some miscellaneous parts. This happens to be a water pump I carry extra. And a lot of the extra things I carry are inside this tote, extra extension cords or wire and whatever else. I do carry a bunch of plumbing parts, but you'll accumulate those as you travel around. I also carry a basic socket set. I carry a caulking gun, and you have to have a variety of caulkings. Now this is one that everybody's going to need. This is the ProFlex RV caulking in clear. I do carry some adhesive, and this particular thing matches up to the roof on our particular coach. I carry an extension cord, and then I carry all this in two separate tool bags. Now in this tool bag, I keep things that I don't use very often and may never use more than once. For example, some shrink tube, a polishing wheel for tires. I carry a whole assortment of clamps. I have, I don't know, 7 or 8 different clamps. There's a number of things inside there that will just amaze you. And then I keep all the stuff that I might use more regularly inside of that toolbox, so I don't have to fight through all these oddball things. So anyway, that's the assortment I carry with us. Now here's what I really say about tools. Carry the tools that you think you will use. For example, this is an extreme, but if you don't weld, you don't need a welder in your shop, right? So carry the tools that you think you would use if something comes up that you need to work on. That's all you need. Also keep in mind that if you need something and you don't have it, there's a good chance you're pretty close to a hardware store. You can go buy yourself that tool. I've done that on a couple different things that I carry. But you don't need to carry the whole doggone shop with you out on the road. And then after all these tools and none of that's going to work for you, here might be the best suggestion I have. Right there. For us, that's CoachNet. That's a roadside assistance program, and I think every RVer that travels the country on a regular basis, maybe a weekend warrior kind of person, may not need that. But if you're a full-timer and you're really traveling the country, you're taking off on a long vacation, a roadside assistance program could save the day. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the 2-part series of the RV must-haves. Keep in mind that we've been full-timers for 10.5 years at the time of this video, and these are just our thoughts. But after 10.5 years, I think we have it down pretty well, and hopefully we've supplied you with some pretty good information, or at least food for thought. Also keep in mind that some of the things we talked about in this video, we do have in our Amazon store down below. If you happen to go to the Amazon store to make any of those purchases, you will not pay a penny more than you would buying from Amazon in any other way. But we do get a small kickback, which helps our channel. Anyway, enough of that. Hey, as always, if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting a thumbs up. Maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. What things do you think should have been in this video that others may want to hear about? Now, I think the next series I put together may be a 2 or 3-part series, and I'm going to call it something like Creature Comforts for RVers, something like that. You may be interested in that when it comes out. So again, hit that subscribe button. You may not want to miss that. Maybe even that notification bell. Hey, as always, have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.